best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Discover Crypto family. We are here again today in a sea of red where we got those momentary green candles trying to light the fire, but it was just a matchstick thrown in the water with the bears taken back over. We're getting conflicting signals in both directions, but we got some decent CPI data today. But is it the whole truth? Because we've got some things we're going to be going over in today's breakdown, what's going on in the market, about why there's so much resistance to bullishness and why we might have a bit of time to wait for to see what's going on. We also have Chris Klein from Bitcoin IRA coming on today to give us a little bit more insight of what's going on in this market, what we can be looking out for into 2026. But before we dive into some of these stories, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. My name's Kelly Kellum. We got my man Druth Crypto here as well, co-hosting today. How you doing, good sir? You're in a new office.
I am. I'm in TJ's old office for the time being. They're putting up a bunch of soundproofing, things of that nature. And, I was trading last night, Kelly. I had like a 10 or 12% win on Bitcoin on a sizable trade. I took the profits, walked away, and then I woke up to this just totally mixed bag. It's nice to see ETH slightly up, Bitcoin down, though. The manipulation this morning, this is kind of crazy. This was the level that I was longing from last night. It went really well, and I got out of the trade early just so I could get some sleep and took my profits, cockroached out of there, scurried on out of there, and now we have completely reset back down. You've been putting out, I could hear you in your office next to me yesterday and this morning, and you mentioned specifically that we were going to bonk our head against this level yesterday and today. And unfortunately, that's the situation. So it's like, I love trading and things of that nature. And the quant kept everyone very profitable yesterday as well. All those ones hit profit, but it's important to take what you're saying that we don't have bullish confirmation yet to heart, right? And to not trade with where my heart's at. Like, I love crypto. I want to see it go up and to the right. So I almost feel like it's a season where I just got to flip this bad boy upside down, just trading view, right click, invert scale, right? Then things look a lot better. But yeah, it does look like shorts are trying to get much lower prices right now on Bitcoin, which gives me, I feel like it's opportunity, man. Like, people are checking out. We buy the lows, we sell highs. People ask how you did it. It's about paying attention when others aren't. That's kind of the easy equation here. So,
well, people seem to forget regularly when they want a direction, whether it's up or down, and it goes the opposite way. The number one tenet in markets is the trend is your friend. And when you look at these trends, we see a downtrend on the daily chart from 126 here to about 116, here to about 106, here with a little wick up, but right here, 93, okay, 92. And then here we are melting back below 85 yet again. And this is what you're talking about. These are the daily candles. This is when we got that pump that was so quick right into a line that we've had on this chart for quite some time. And that's this descending level of support that has turned into pretty strong resistance. And then here we go again, one more try to get back up and then come back down. This is liquidating people in both directions. I know we're not going to really go into deep detail on this, but you asked me a question today if we were actually going to even title around it. I've lost an overwhelming amount of money in this market, especially if you extrapolate what the gains would have been had I not made stupid decisions. I lost about $100,000 in the market. I guess it was about 5 years ago. And it was from me not holding true to my strategy, not having appropriate risk management measures in place, and also being so sure of myself that I basically forgot everything else. Now, the funny thing is, the market did exactly what I thought it was going to do, yet because I had a little bit too high leverage and too much of my portfolio involved, the market, they go out there, what they call liquidation hunting, and they came down, within $3 of exactly where my liquidation point was. and literally washed me out. And within the next like 3 minutes, the market completely slingshotted up, which would have been a multi-1,000% gain. But that's why, if it was so easy, everybody be doing it. What do you see? Everybody getting liquidated. We're seeing 119,000 people liquidated on Friday, another 200 million something liquidated yesterday. And today we're seeing it, and not in one direction, in both directions. So Drew, what are you doing to keep yourself sane right now in all of this chop?
Yeah, I mean, I'm staying happy with 10, 15% movements on a leverage trade, right? And like, leverage is a tool. It's a tool I can use to have a minimal amount of my crypto on an exchange, or if I'm trading on a DEX, exposed to that pain. And having the Discord quant help me get out of my paradigm of this is up only, because I truly do love the power that crypto gives me to hold my own funds, and I want to see it go up and to the right. But having alternative viewpoints have really helped me kind of protect myself, especially in this environment. I trusted my gut a while ago and kind of pared down heavily out of a bunch of altcoins, which I'm really glad I did. I mean, it's kind of scary, Kelly. I was looking at a post today where a lot of these altcoins have returned to extreme low levels. Like, it's kind of confounding when you really look at it. This is Castilla Trading. He's putting out things like, I'm semi disappointed in getting involved with crypto. I do reiterate this. Crypto and Bitcoin are about power and control. And that's always been my thesis. But playing these games on these altcoins and writing these things down proves to be very, very painful when the music stops playing. This is XPL, that plasma token that's focused on stablecoin movements. You think stablecoin super cycle, up only, right? Wrong. Definitely lost momentum. This is Polkadot losing that momentum on the price chart. Filecoin as well. It had a very reasonable kind of use case and pitch last bull market, Kelly. And I've been consistently bludgeoned by the crowd to get bullish on Filecoin, and I just saw so much competition. I never bought a bag of this thing, and it's completely reset. And Trump token, the lesson about Trump token I wanted to talk about is I was hosting a space with you on Mario Nafal the night that Trump token came out, and we weren't able to confirm that it was a real meme coin from Trump until about $5 or $6. So that's when I bought a decent amount of Trump token. I wanted to see a meme coin hit $100. So I held it up and I woke up the next morning as $88 a token, right? It was an incredible experience. But then this thing completely lost the excitement. So when I did see these little escape pumps come back in, I got out of it. I made a 3x out of it. And I'm happy with that because now this thing is below that entry point that I had literally on the day of its release. So the point of my story is we shouldn't be just shooting for 100xers and riding them to zero if it doesn't work. My whole reason monetarily in crypto beyond communication is to outpace inflation. If you made a 3x, you made a 5x, take your profits. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You'll be able to make it to another day. That's just my thoughts on this general sentiment right now, Kelly.
Well, yeah, I was on a space earlier, actually on the Mario Nafal channel, and we were talking about the altcoin market. And one of the things I think a lot of us have sort of really taken for granted is the shape of the capital that surrounds this market and how it's being allocated has changed dramatically in the last 2 years. One of the major focuses here is the token deployers that came out. And again, I'm not saying they're right or wrong or good or bad, but in 2017, you had a group of new altcoins coming out of this whole ICO craze where you had this degen opportunity for retail and VCs and big money that was involved in crypto back then to really focus in on a relatively, quite minusculely small variety of tokens. Even if it was 100, 500, 1,000, we thought that was a lot. And then we had the history on our side in the last cycle where it's like, well, altcoins perform so well. And you had this larger pool of capital that was coming in and also a lot of money that had been made in previous cycles. It really drove up the altcoin sector. This cycle, we had the token deployers come out where you had, as many as 30 to 40 million new tokens get deployed. And in a lot of ways, that really siphoned off a massive amount of the degen liquidity that otherwise would have been attributed to Cardano, to Avalanche, and so I do think that there's a little bit of diffusion there. And then on the big money side, you have big money players that also see, okay, well, I can go into one of these tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of altcoins, or I made some money in the crypto space and I have money in the traditional market. I can take advantage of MicroStrategy, of Strive, of MetaPlanet, of what is it? Cypher, Marathon,
Right.
Gold. Gold has even been, outperforming the majority of the crypto market in the last year, if not all of it, right? So there's just been this very interesting setting around how capital is flowing. But I do want to go to this chart real quick because we've got the question here is, why is Bitcoin broken away from the stock market? Well, it hasn't. There's been a pretty large move to the downside, but it's still tracking some stocks out there. And we're seeing this. I mean, this is almost move for move, looking at what's going on here. We did get good data today in terms of the CPI, which we'll get into in a second. But I know you had this chart pulled up as well, but massive amount of long-term holders selling kind of in this capitulation area right in here as well. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on this chart and what it means to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's, long-term holders that got in a Bitcoin for, let's say, $1,000, $3,000, $4,000. They're seeing the wash down and they're taking profits on extreme gains right now. And it's kind of like a distribution process. And where it's being distributed to, one of the most aggravating things is the Bitcoin that's being bought up right now. The institutions are buying OTC, meaning that it doesn't help the price go up when they buy the Bitcoin, but then they sell it on the open market and that nukes the price to the downside. And that's kind of been the design of the chart pain lately. And it's, it's TJ says it best. It's institutions are here. They don't ever play fair. And they're going to play extra unfair with the new asset class of crypto, especially, Bitcoin holders in particular, I think are, kind of the main focus here. But, I have plays and bets on things like Chainlink and Morpho. And I was checking out, just the general TVL side, just to make sure that the total value locked metrics aren't sick within crypto as we're going through all this. And the overall TVL in DeFi looks very, very strong. This is giving me a strong argument that DeFi sector is definitely here to stay. And the use case of stable coins is something much more impactful to the world than I think we're giving it credit for. The US government making these stablecoin companies hold US treasuries and then releasing these stablecoins across the world like a contagion over the next 5 to 10 years. This is a definite breaking point, a make or break moment for fiat currency. If these stablecoins can make their way out and be backed 100% by treasuries, this is the design of the new version of money. Crypto is being adopted at an aggregate institutional scale, and they're clearing out as many of the old school holders as they can with fear before they move this system over to a new design. That's my personal take on it.
Well, I love that. And when we talk about the old system versus the new system, it's crazy in this day and age how much data is available to be aggregated and it's cross-referenced, especially with AI interpretations and quantifying some of these things. And yet we still live in a day and age where we're seeing stuff like this, where we have, the CPI number came out today. This is from Trueflation, right? This is not a government organization. This is a private company that goes out and aggregates a lot of data. And there's tends to be a lot of conflicting stuff, but we did come out quite a bit lower. I think it was 3.1 was the expectation. We came in at 2.7. So it's quite a bit lower in the consumer price index, meaning inflation is lower than expected. But what did we also have in October into November? We had the massive government shutdown. And interestingly, I just want to highlight this. Trueflation projected a 2.9% year-over-year increase, blah, 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 blah. But it really gets to this, which means the Federal Reserve might well disregard the Bureau of Labor Statistics, CPI, in its policies for 2026. And this is going to be something as we're moving forward. Drew, how do they even look at the data we have now? Whether we've talked about this before on this channel, labor data, which is going to get distorted exponentially as AI comes in. There's going to be a huge booming, like building boom on the data centers, on engineering, on all these different areas. But then it seems like there's going to be this massive boom into ultimate massive contraction. And it just seems like everything's so sculpted, they don't know their ass from their elbow. So what are we to do?
Well, I'll kind of talk about what I think is going to happen, especially like I'll start with gold, right? Gold is a protectionary asset where the markets start to fall apart and seize up, what they call stagflation, zero growth. And so I want to highlight this conversation because actually it's a theory I've had running for a while that's been playing out. Now palladium is running, gold hit $4,400 an ounce for the first time in history today. And I want to kind of talk about something that I actually do expect to play out, which is and isn't scary. Like it's, gold is in this collapse up moment. And I just want to be real honest with my internal thoughts on this. So gold is got the potential. I'm not cutting it out of the realm of possibility that it keeps going to $6,000, $7,000. I'm not trying to say that it can't keep going, but what it's done recently mirrors the stagflationary event in the US in the 1979 to 80s moment. But the main thing about this, and obviously I could zoom in on this, these are very picture perfect replications of each other where you have, the swoop, the run up, the swoop, the run up after some bull flag built up at the midpoint there. Same thing circled here. The crazy thing about this is after you have a boom to the upside and trust within fiat collapse, gold went through essentially, a 9,268 day bear market. Where it was, you could call this accumulation zone. If you accumulated gold in a $300 to $600 range, you're doing great in this current level. But this caused a very, very long time of massive money printing, pushing rates to near zero to push markets back into a fiat currency so that the government can retain control of the economy. As I said, Bitcoin's a game of control. And when I see graphs like this playing out the same way that they did in one of the most heinous moments in our economy, this is where mortgages went to 18%. And the difference and the scary part about this, Kelly, is that interest rates went up to 18% when houses were exponentially cheaper than they are right now. And this is where my worry for the average person comes into play. So,
and I got some more to layer on you there. And again, I am bullish still on 2026 for crypto, but we have to look at the concerns as well. So let's kind of look at some of these concerns, because gold is the tried and true over thousands of year store of value, hedge against risk, right? And what we're seeing on this chart, I just want you to notice this peak, and then this peak here. We're basically, this is just before the 2008 great financial crisis. This is just before the dot-com bubble burst. And look at this margin debt as a percentage of money supply. So if you're looking at this, like the broader investment asset class ecosystem, it's like, oh, there's signals that do say, hey, start to fly from risk into a safe hedge. And gold is kind of really taking the cake there, as well as silver and palladium. But it's not just this margin of debt versus M2. We also see margin debt 7-month percent change. And notice these peaks. Each time this has happened, we've seen pretty these don't look large, but these are pretty large moves to the downside, as also culminating here, and we're kind of right at that level as well. Then you look at this right here, Shiller PE ratio. The S&P 500 Shiller PE ratio soars above 40 for only the second time in history. The other time was the dot-com bubble, probably fine. So my point here is there's a lot of stress. There's liquidity concern. There's risk concern in the global landscape right now, where we're having this basically entire repiping, re-infrastructure layer, new foundations being built in the digital age, while we're also having a changing of the guard, which is starting to become very obvious, and how the world order is working and where central banks fit into those pictures. So we have stress in the stock market, questions of liquidity. They tell us they're going to be printing money. However, everything else seems like it's leveraged to the hilt, as we saw in some of those charts there. So it makes sense that there's a little bit of concern about just going all in on risk assets, especially coming into the end of the year, as we outlined yesterday on yesterday's show here, that we tend to get a little bit retraction in volume. We get a little bit of retraction, as we've seen in open interest, a retraction of just money that is actively moving about the system as people close up their year.
Yeah. And, we're heading into Christmas, and this is just how it feels like. At least it's going to be a week of work, one more before Christmas will come and we can chill. And this is our week, just pure demolition, explosions. If you are out there trading, honestly, like being a cockroach going in and out of trades been really, really important for me. And a lot of the aggravation, and me as well, I share it, is the clear manipulation, just liquidity grabs that have been going on for the last few days. Honestly, it's been going on for months, but yesterday was absolutely ridiculous. These are 1 minute candles. And over the course of, say, 10 minutes, Bitcoin rose by 3.6%. And then over the course of the next 30 minutes, fell by 4.6%. So, now we have today's situation, and
Same thing.
Really the kind of interesting thing for me to think about in this zone is there are some guts of support here. And if I back up a little bit more, the kind of midpoint of this washout, when we had the trade war kickoff in the, it was like right after the inauguration, and then we had the trade war kickoff. This might be enough of a bounce to get us off here, but I have the box highlighted in green because that's the price of Bitcoin that I'd prefer to buy it at, around the $65,000-$70,000 zone. So
well, I just want to say on those yesterday's candle price action, and then today where we had the run up and then the quick sell off, and then this ultimate hype machine that everybody's so locked into, even every one of you watching us here, hope you all realize we're not always going to just be permanently bullish every single day telling you this is the opportunity. We're going to tell you what we're looking at is the outcome in the near term, but mostly over midterm, long term for the best opportunities. Now, has our idea and prescription of what we're seeing as a market change over the last 2 months? Yeah. And the dynamic of liquidity and the consideration about risk has changed as well. So we've had to adapt over time, but everybody is like this alligator here. Everybody's like this alligator here thinking they're seeing profits only to, oh shit, that's not profits. Okay, let's try again. It's today now. Let's go. Oh, shit, I thought it was profits. And this is what's going on. And just to be clear, it's not just us. I've telegraphed this for the last several months. I'm very bullish on 2026. Wasn't really sure how the end of the year was going to go. It's become more of a tightened risk consideration, especially as I've said, since the government shutdown ended temporarily until January, that there's not a real huge idea exactly what's going to happen. So much so that even Van Eck Major, they have a Bitcoin ETF and other crypto ETFs. They say no, you know what? We got no predictions for 2026. Good luck, motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, you have to acknowledge this. Like, Bitcoin has never existed during stagflation, ever. And gold is a much older asset. Now, the things that I will say and what I'm willing to predict is that Bitcoin, once this flush out completes, and if we have to plate check the previous all-time highs like we did back last bear market, fine. But I think that the resurgence is going to be more violent than people expect. I don't think Bitcoin's going to stay in pain for the entirety of 2026. I actually think its resurgence is going to be pretty violent, and it's going to leave a lot of people behind that are deciding to just check out in total right now. This is exactly the psyop that these market makers want to have happen to the viewers watching this show, the aggravated people out there in crypto. They want you gone. They want you not holding Bitcoin so that they can release a DeFi takeover, a technological transformation of markets across the planet that's going to happen. It's happening in lifetime. They're going to vote on this. I know there's a little aggravation that we have to wait till next year for that vote to happen, but these things are happening. There is no way around this. And I know in my heart of hearts that they are going to print 10 to 20 trillion dollars to make this little AI fever dream come true here in the United States alone. So there's a lot of opportunity within that. And I'm willing to make those predictions. Van Eck, a large organization, I'm kind of surprised that they're not leaning into this concept of the government's new deal. It is obvious as ever that the markets are seized up and they have to inject liquidity to kick it back over. Otherwise, $40 trillion of single family value walks out the door. They're not going to let that happen. It's not going to happen. So,
no, I definitely agree with you. There's just so many things in terms of the landscape surrounding the crypto asset class that is literally more bullish than it's ever been. So for those of you that are worried right now, I mean, let's just get back to the charts. If I'm saying I'm bearish, the bearish time frame I'm talking about specifically is the current downtrend we are in. I personally think, as bullish as I am on 2026, I personally think in order for this to get up, we're going to have to drop a bit lower. I think we're going to get a setup that's something similar to what we saw in this move from January all the way here until April 7th. This was we had a Japan rate hike. We also had the tariffs kick on after the inauguration. So we had this massive sell-off in Bitcoin and the broader global financial markets, and then the bounce out of that. But this was set up. This actually formed this massive bullish divergence once we got this lower low. And if you look at this price structure up until about right here, very similar to what we're seeing, right? It's basically like we're like here on that move. So if we were to get a move lower, it would be in inconsistency with the downtrend we're currently in on the daily chart. But in my opinion, I still think it's a very strong likelihood. I would put it at like an 85% likelihood that a move down into this region somewhere, whether it's 77, 78, maybe even as low as, in the upper mid 70s, retesting that same green box that you had, which is also this previous range, all these range highs back here around the halving. So coming somewhere in this region, again, below 80, anywhere below 80, I think personally is a great opportunity, so long as you're willing to hold for some time, because I do think we're going to start working our way up and, have some trouble, work our way up, but we're going to be having these long periods of accumulation throughout, because this is the new name of the game with all these massive institutions, corporations, sovereign bodies out there stacking in, controlling. Now we have financialized products where people can buy one position, hedge in the other direction. So there's a lot more controls in place around the liquidity and how it flows in this market. But ultimately, I think this is still a setup for a continuation in 2026, but we're yet to see.
Yeah, and this is kind of the situation for the mentality and especially altcoin holders. It's so funny. TJ put this out, that we are here. I don't effing care anymore. And this is well beyond extreme fear. And I think the sentiment comes from, the fear and greed index has been near or at extreme fear for quite some time. And I remember very well, I sold a bunch of altcoins at what I thought was the wrong time.
Well, you're talking about March 2024?
Yes, it should have been the wrong time to sell the alts, but I had made moves. I saw some people mention an ICP.
Hold on. I want to give you some flowers there for just a moment. Just to show you all, this is the others chart. So large in part, a lot of altcoins. This peak right here, this is March of 2024. And I remember when people were telling you, why would you sell here? What happened?
Yeah.
It peaked here, and then we had that massive downside. I mean, this is just an index, 60% downside before we got another move that just ultimately just were dead fishes flopping on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it was very weird. I was getting shamed for leaving too early. ICP's going to $100. What are you doing? And it was basically this process. So, God, this looks like such an ugly chart when I'm looking at it like this. ICP I picked up for about $3, but then I outperformed Bitcoin exponentially and was able to get rid of it for like $16. And that was a while ago. And I sold the farm. Like I bought these lows, G'd it up here in the $16 zone. And I did the same thing to Avalanche and a couple other alts. And my mindset has basically been, how much Bitcoin can I get per week? Because I saw someone in the chat that gold is now a better asset than Bitcoin. And I will acknowledge that gold has been around for much, much, much longer than Bitcoin. Absolutely. But the rate of adoption of internet communication has been some of the fastest movement in human history. How quickly we are all now online. If you're really being true with analytics and how the world has moved over the last 10, 20 years, you will acknowledge that a vast majority of commerce, communication, and everything that we know has moved online. So the concept to be able to move value online is an obvious layup for me. So, I look at this Bitcoin watch every day. How much Bitcoin can I get today? I'm not thinking about how much money can I get today. It's how much Bitcoin can I get. That's the whole play. And it's a consistent winning process. You know what I mean? It's all about control for me. I like controlling my money.
Well, one of the things I'd love to highlight too, I know we got Chris Klein's going to be popping on here in just a moment, but let's take a look at the dominance as well, guys. Dominance is starting to make a pretty substantial move back to the upside here, which is, that pain in the alts. It's also coming into the end of the year. There tends to be rebalancing, not only on institutions, but personal sort of books, people getting themselves situated where they want to be when they want to close out the year for tax reasons, also cutting losses, maybe making some different moves. And we are seeing Bitcoin kind of hold up a bit better here. And you can see this evidence by this move back to the upside. Now, this isn't a nail in the coffin for the alts, but this does show that's kind of the tricky situation. And then furthermore, then we have the dollar index, which was dropping, has started basically had a bit of a bounce here and has been kind of pushing up just a little bit the last few days, which tends to correlate with being some pressure on investment assets like Bitcoin, like stocks, like other things. So remember, when this price action right here fell through, let's look at what that date was. Oh, April 7th, April 8th, April 9th. This is when that broke down. What happened in Bitcoin on April 7th, April 8th, and April 9th? Let's look at that. Let's go to a cleaner chart. That would be right here, right here. That's April 7th, April 8th, April 9th. So when the Dixie was breaking down, this was a setup for Bitcoin really exploding. And yet where we're sitting right now kind of exemplifies the stress the entire market's in. Look at this chop mofo city that we're sitting in right now, constricting versus, is the market really going to go risk off? And we start to see a lot of downward pressure on the broader markets in general, not just crypto. Or is this going to do something different? Or is this going to break below an 18-year support line and really send markets flying? So This chart exemplifies the frustration nature that's coming to a head as we speak.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing Tom Lee out there. He just will not quit. It is so confusing. Tom Lee came out, he's talking about Bitcoin is going to make an all-time high by the end of January in 1 month. And I will acknowledge Bitcoin's capable of this. I'm just really not feeling like we're going to have excitement come back until at least Q2 of next year. And this, like people in the chat, I'm quitting forever. I'll see you in 4 or 5 months. Honestly, if you're out there telling yourself you're quitting, I'm going to see you in 5-6 months from now, because that's when things will kick back on.
Well, I will say, sitting here, it looks like we have an empty spot, but no, we got the man of the hour, Mr. Christopher Klein, Chris Klein, Senator Klein. Some of you might know him as. He and I are going to be on Spaces tonight. We do every Thursday. We'll be talking about the time bomb that is the market right now. I just want to highlight that really quick before we go any further. And that is this right here. There we go. No, not that.
Yeah, let me help you out here. There we go.
Yeah, so this is X Spaces tonight. It'll be through the Discover Crypto channel, as well as I'll be streaming it as well. But make sure you're tuning into this. But before, I just wanted to highlight that. But Chris, you've got $10 billion or so with assets with people on the Bitcoin IRA platform. Are people running for the hills, or is there a different discourse that you're seeing with them? Because one, they have an IRA account, which means they're looking somewhat moderately long-term than a meme coiner, right? What's the general vibe you're getting from your client base right now? Or is everybody just as lost as everybody else in the world?
Well, first thing I want to do is I want to say thank you to Drew and his wife
Hey,
my
look at that.
amazing stocking that I'm going to hang up on my mantle here this afternoon. I have not hung my stockings yet, but really
Looks
well
good.
done. Amazing work, man. Look at the egg there. It's great work.
Love
And
it.
sorry
Love
that
it.
I'm not in my particular studio setting. I just got back from Sedona with my wife for a couple days. We may be introducing another child to our lives. So, Drew, you know how that works. You've got a lot of those. I've only got one. Might be two soon. So,
Oh, congrats. That's
yeah,
I mean,
I come in with a positive, right? That's how I roll.
Yeah.
When it comes to sentiment, I gotta tell you, like we're net positive on buys right now, which is actually surprising. So November was probably heavy liquidations, but they weren't leaving; they were just looking for a better buying opportunity. And then this month has been heavy purchases. So that tells me that the sentiment has shifted a little bit. I have noticed some things that 10 a.m. I guess 10 a.m. for me or what. There's
No,
this
you're talking
kind of
about
like
the
10 a.m.
10
thing,
a.m.
right?
market washouts.
Yes. Is that you've been talking about this stuff, right? Like it has had. This is crazy. This feels like it feels like market manipulation, but we invited it, right? Because we brought these institutions in and there's covered calls and there's all these other moving parts. And thereby we have these kind of moments in time where a big chunk of money is moving in or out of the marketplace. And so that's really interesting to me. But, no, I think to answer your question, Kelly, they're not running for the hills. In fact, we're walking into the end of the year where they have to put down their annual contributions for the year, which is a big checklist item for our client base. And we have stacked up probably over $2 million of just people ready to deposit their $7,500 to $8,500 at the first of the year already set. Because you can do that in our platform. You can actually log in and say, okay, I'm a client holder. I want to deposit on X date. And so I'm looking at these numbers and these limit orders and everything else. And I'm like, okay, there's clearly a bullish sentiment coming from our database. But that doesn't mean that that's the indication of the entire database or the entire world. It's a very interesting space. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think I'd be interested to see the data, maybe cross aggregate the data from Bitcoin IRA and the buys, sells, sort of holding patterns on different asset niches that you all have compared to something like just a broader sort of open market like Coinbase or something like that. That would be interesting. I'm curious to see, based on what you just said, though, if that does turn out to be a broader market thing where going into the beginning of the year, as I've been talking about the last few days on this show, that there's the end of the year slowdown, which isn't abnormal. It's something that normally happens coming into the end of the year.
People check out. They check out. I mean,
yeah, well,
I just came back from Sedona for 2 days. I actually cut my Sedona trip short because I wanted to be with my besties, Drew and Kelly. But this is natural. People they check out. That's what they do. It's reality. But once we get past probably January 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there, which I'm going to be on some big radio shows with some big conservative pundits that are super aggressive about crypto for next year. That's where I think we're going to start seeing this thing build out. And let's think about this. Like, let's think macro. Let's zoom out for a second. I think we've got unemployment getting really nasty. I think we've got the rate cuts aren't exactly working. Inflation barely missed. So these are all pieces of a macroeconomic pie that I'm worried about. I'm honestly worried. And what I believe in is alternatives, right? So Bitcoin is an alternative, gold's an alternative, silver's an alternative. All these things are alternatives. And that's what I'm focused on is like, where are those going to perform over the next, say, 90 to 120 days? If we're really going to be honest with each other, over the next 90 to 120 days, probably going to be an indicator of where we're going to go for the next 18 months. And that's because folks are looking at how they're going to build out their portfolio right now. Right now, they're all checked out. Like, we're all buying Christmas gifts. I got Christmas trees. We're probably singing Christmas. Look at Drew's got the Christmas vest on. Or yeah, you're just living it. Like,
well,
that's the game. That's the game right now.
You mentioned maybe you're going to have 2 kids. I'll tell you a quick story, and then I want to get to some of these questions about Bitcoin IRA, particularly if people can get in from their location. But I had a daughter rip a hole in the wall of a towel rack. She put all of her weight on the towel rack, ripped 2 huge holes in the wall. So I spent some time remodeling and getting the bathroom nice and fixed up. Right as I'm putting the final bolt in and getting done with the bathroom, I walk out to the kitchen. My other daughter was scribbling on really nice woodwork that we had done, and now I have to resand.
So you're
restain
saying
the woodwork.
you're saying stop having kids is what you're
No,
saying.
they're fulfilling, but it keeps you busy. And I can understand, like, people are aggravated out here. Like Cardano just hit a low that it hasn't seen in an entire year. You know what I mean?
XRP is getting pretty close to a 12-month low, right? I think. Yeah.
I think that's worth looking at. And I wanted to check out these questions real quick before I lose them. Can Canadians get into Bitcoin IRA? We got someone from Canada.
I wish I could have all of Canada. I guess if Trump makes you guys the 51st state, which I don't think would make sense. But if that happens, yes. But at this time, you guys have retirement savings plans. And I would make sure you take a look at Coin Shares, other companies that I know that do this. We don't provide services outside United States citizens. So sorry about that from that person.
The hits keep coming to Canadians. I swear to God, it's unbelievable. Let's check this one out. Can you on Bitcoin IRA get your Bitcoin back out of self-custody at some point?
Can you cash out to self-custody, or does it get, when you close out, does it get closed to cash?
So, well, that's a loaded question. So if you put, let's just look at this. So Kelly puts $7,500 in a Bitcoin IRA account, and he buys a bunch of coins, and then he finds his exit strategy and he sells them. Right at that point, it's cash inside an IRA account. You always have the choice to distribute to your personal custody, self-custody, but what you're going to have is you're going to have tax implications and penalties if you're under a certain age. There are tools available within our program where you can open up an LLC or an IRA trust, and you can move those things over. We offer that to every client, but not a lot of them do that because there's this beauty of like double insurance, bankruptcy, remote segregation. Like there's a lot of moving parts that keep clients safe, especially in these times where it's just getting so crazy with the spoofing calls, the AI calls, all these types of things. So yes, you can do those and we can help you with them, but I would be curious to follow up with that person. What's their intention? What are they planning on doing?
I've got a big one for you because this is from Kyle White. Said literally going to sign myself, my sister, my parents up for the Bitcoin IRA today. I keep saying I'm going to make it happen. He's going to do that. So I got a question for you. I wonder if I can twist your arm, Mr. Klein. We got people that are watching today, and sometimes we forget to light the fire under our own asses to do the things that we intend to. But sometimes if you put a time limit on stuff or some special incentives, are there any incentives that we can give basically maybe between now and Christmas or now and the end of the year to get people activated to make that move?
Absolutely. And for Discover Crypto Fam, for everybody that's involved in Truth and Kelly and BitLabs and everything else, you have up until the end of the year, December 31st, maybe even I could probably extend it to like January 6th because it's the holidays. You will get up to $1,000 in rewards back for any deposits you make. And we will give you, I don't know if we have any more of these awesome, this is old school vest. I haven't worn this in a while, but we have some really cool HODL days, swag like Christmas stuff. We got everything. So you're going to get a great piece of swag. And you're also going to save a bunch of money on your deposit, up to I think $1,000 in referral fees. Plus, we have a really strong referral program. So if you do good things for us and share with other people, that's all available for you. So yes, those are all like, let's incentivize people. And beyond incentivizing with rewards, the government has a rule. So if you don't get your money in by a certain time period, then you won't get the tax advantages of it. So by April 15th, if you don't put your money into your IRA, you're going to miss out on why am I in this business? I'm in this business because We have to find ways to win against the government. If I saw something on from TJ on X earlier today. The minute you think the government's your friend, you're losing. The government is here to take things from you and control things. There's a few things that they've done since the 1970s where they say, hey, if you do this, we're going to reward you. And that's putting money into a retirement account, long-term savings. They want money in long-term savings because that's stability for our economy. And they reward us for that. They reward us in tax savings, whether it's on the front side, if you put $7,500 in or $8,000 in for this year and you are lowering your tax bill, or you do it without lowering your tax bill, but you get those amazing tax-free savings and gains and distributions when you get older. Those are realities that you can only capitalize on every single year. So you have a deadline, April 15th, to do this year and this year and next year. So 2025, 2026. Here's how I look at it. You could wait till April 15th and you could do 6,500 or 7,500, 8,500. So we're talking about, let's call it $18,000. You could do that right now, or you could do it in 5 months. 4.5 months. Where do you think the price of those crypto assets that you want to buy into are going to be in that moment in time? I would prefer to put a bunch of money into my retirement account, think long term, and save on all those gains. So you're talking about the folks from Cardano. You're talking about XRPs at what, 185. You're talking about even Bitcoins at 85,000. These are the moments in time as consumers, retail buyers, where we can maximize our gains. So if you take your 8,000, you put it in, you buy 6 or 7 different coins, and every dollar you spend, you're going to get a tax advantage and you're going to get tax win off of when that coin goes from right now. XRP, for example, is at $1.8185. Imagine it's at $3.40 again. Every dollar you make off of that is going to be tax free. FREE inside of this component, as opposed to taking it and dropping it in Coinbase, and maybe you get lucky and it does the same thing, but now you're going to eat up like 25 to 37% capital gains taxes. Right. And those taxes are just going up, as we all know. I just paid my taxes in October. Oof, they're nasty, and they just keep getting worse. On
that note, one of the things I think people forget is there's a lot of people out there that have money on the sidelines that they forgot about. They don't even remember they had, or they just have been letting sit somewhere. And they're actually at the same time saying, man, I wish I had more money that I could rotate into Bitcoin or Ethereum or my favorite altcoin. So what would you say to that? How can people find out whether it's people leaving 401ks behind? Apparently that's a multi-trillion-dollar staggering number of people just leaving.
2.6 trillion. It's 2.6 trillion. 2.6 trillion has been left behind. And so if you can't find your old 401k, that's okay. What you can do is you can go to beagle.com, like the dog, beagle.com. And if you put in a couple pieces of information, they will go hunt the entire internet and find exactly where your 401k might be. It might be a couple $100, might be a couple $1,000, might even be a couple tens of thousands of dollars. You don't know. And from there, we can roll that over into your retirement account at Bitcoin IRA, so you can get into the cryptos that you're looking for.
Yeah. Cryptito is asking, can you help me? And, obviously I know that you have a direct line people can call.
Yes, we do.
It's 877.
Scroll up a little bit. You'll see it right there in the top for crypto.
Yeah. 877.
How do you say that? Is it Cryptito?
Cryptito. Yeah. 877-936-7175. And you can actually get a human on the phone, which is really, really nice. And there's another question I wanted to get. The questions about this keep coming. There's a fellow, I think, asking, here it is. So I have to sell my Bitcoin to start an IRA. Can you just address this question? Because I see this one come up quite a bit.
So yes, unfortunately, yes. The way that the government works, you have to put their money into the retirement program. So the way you contribute every year is the only acceptable asset class that goes into a retirement every year for contributions is dollars, US dollars, which sucks. I agree. I think it's the worst thing in the world. I've been trying to find a way around it for years. 10 years I've been doing this. But the truth is, if you want to contribute your $7,500 to $8,500 a year, you're gonna have to do it in US dollars. And then you're building. What you're doing is, instead of selling off the crypto you already have, you keep that where it's at, because until you sell it, you're not going to have a capital gains implication. But what you're doing is you're building tax-free crypto on top of that. So if you have $100,000 and say 50,000 of it is pre-tax and the other 50,000 is post-tax, so you're mitigating your tax implications. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is something that is important. It's like, if you're selling at a low, you're realizing less gains that you have to pay taxes on the way in. Is that correct? Because that's kind of how I think about it. It's like, you want to make your entrance into this when the prices are low, and then hold for a really, really long time to let it appreciate, and then you don't have to pay.
I was on a tax planning summit about 2 months ago in Newport Beach with Carlton Dennis. And I recommend anybody on here take a look at him. He's smart dude. I really enjoyed my time with him. And one of the things I told him was, I put my most risky assets in my retirement. I try to keep between 1 to 3 months in US dollars, dirty dollars, because I got to pay my bills. And I've got a sector that's in real estate, sector in land, which are long-term, kind of boring, slow assets. And my most aggressive assets are on my retirement accounts. So my Roth IRA, my daughter's Roth IRA, my wife's Roth IRA, all of our Roth IRAs are all committed to things that will take 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, I'm 41, so I guess that's 50 is 91. If I make it to 91, that'd be pretty impressive. But for my daughter, she's going to get it as an inherited IRA. So even if I die before I can take it, my daughter's going to get those assets, and she's going to keep them in that tax advantage setting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just, it's stuff that, people think about this and they talk about, I'm going to hold forever, but they don't really think about also what the legacy transfer of those assets is actually going to look like. And I think that's another kind of key that you brought up, because me personally, like, the Bitcoin is for the kids. I'm out here playing in the front lines of the trenches with the altcoins, sure, and the trading, sure. But the Bitcoin is definitely for the kids. I did see this. Someone's asking if there's a minimum amount that they have.
$1,000. $1,000 is the minimum to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I do want to. We've been having some fun with the audience, getting engaged. It is holiday.
Are we gonna do trivia? Is it trivia time?
Let's do some trivia, but you gotta let the people know what is it trivia for? What do they stand to gain, or is it just pats on the back, or what do we got?
So, okay, obviously the trivia, I've been doing this for 3 or 4 sessions with you guys, and I love it. I think it's awesome. And what I prepared a couple. I did some things about, we got the Fed chair running out the door, but with his tail between his legs. I listened to Trump speak last night. Obviously, he has some plans. His plans didn't work out exactly as we planned as crypto folks, but I think we're going to have a change in the Fed Reserve. I also have a couple of holiday questions. So what you get is, if you get it right, so we'll put the question up. If you get it right, you get $100 worth of free swag at the Bitcoin IRA shop. Whoa. And we've got all kinds of good stuff. I think, Kelly, you can pull it up. Go to the HODL days. Is it go to view all? Click. Oh, there they are. Look at those. So I was trying to find my sweater. My daughter stole my sweater today to go to her holiday party, but I got a happy HODL days. She's got the Stanley. So you get $100 worth of goodies to shop here and show your love for crypto and for crypto and IRAs. And you also get the bragging rights, right? To say, I got a question right on Discover Crypto. So do we want to run in for the first question right now?
Yeah, let's do the first one. I do want to just shout out though, the black and white quarter zips, these two things right here. You guys have been seeing us wear them on our streams. It's my favorite shirt. I feel like I work for Bitcoin IRA because I've been wearing those like 2/3 of the time I'm out and about. They're such comfortable, great shirts. So do you want to, and it says Bitcoin on it, Bitcoin IRA, but people always ask about it. It's a really great piece of merch. But yeah, let's dive through. How about you do the questions this time? Dive into the first one, and we'll get it going.
Okay, are you going to put them up? Do you have them?
Are you going to read the first one first?
Yeah, I'll read it first. So who was the first federal chairman of the Federal Reserve, the chair of the Federal Reserve? Who was the first one?
Whoa. All right. All right. We're reaching back here. Who's the first Fed chair? Chat, first answer.
Really, we're seeing
Get
who
a
can
win.
Google the fastest or
Yeah.
who is just ultimately super strong.
Yeah. Who's got the fastest fingers? Oh, man. Alan Greenspan's an answer.
Oh wow, no! In my lifetime,
Now,
that's probably
while
right.
he was old as dirt, no, remember
Diddy. I love the
Fed-
Diddy
Fed
answer.
is all
The
the way
Diddy
back
answer
to
is hilarious.
2013, 2014.
Charles
Well, we
Hamlin,
got
there
it.
we go. Charles
Nice.
Hamlin. Who's got that? Flippa
Flippa.
Frank.
Flippa
Wait,
Frank.
Frank.
Oh, wait.
Congratulations,
Patton.
Flippa. You
Hold
just
on.
got you
No,
just got
Patton
Yeah,
McCrotch
I
got
think
it.
Oh
Patton
no, it's
McCrotch
Patton McCrotch.
he just barely
Wow,
beat him.
I can't believe I just said that out loud.
Yeah. Patton McCrotch just won that $100 of free swag.
Congratulations, Patton.
I actually know Patton on a very personal level. So text me. I'll make sure to handle that one. We can get in contact, get you. Let's move on to the next. I believe how close that was between him.
The
and
That was
next
close.
question-
I saw the first one. I didn't see it right away.
The next
All right,
question
ready
we're
for
a little
number
worried
2?
about, because it could go a lot of different directions. So go ahead and ask this question.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. Who was the longest standing Fed chair?
Okay, longest standing Fed chair. Chat. Let's see who gets it. Let's see who gets it. I wish I had drum roll. Brrrr. Let's see here. Patton's excited. Patton's excited. Don't say Diddy either. That's going to be definitely the wrong answer on this one for sure. Elvis is wrong. Let's see here.
You guys see it faster
Greenspan.
than me, so I'll
We
let
got
you
it.
guys.
We got it.
Who is it?
Oh wait, no.
Yeah, I think Ark's official. Is that
Yeah, I think
William Martin?
No, it's a Warrior.
Okay. There we go. Boom. Warriors.
William Martin.
And then where they're emailing, should we have them email editing at Hit Network?
Yes,
Right.
and then we'll get the email address, and then Bitcoin IRA will send you your gift card for $100.
Perfect.
And by the way, just so you guys know, it's a pretty long one for William McKinsey Martin, 1951 to 1970. That's a hell of a time period. If you think about that's like 4 presidents.
That's the
guy was
Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Cold War. That's a long time.
the close second. So William Martin did 19 years as Fed chair. Alan Greenspan did 18 and a half years. So we basically went 20 years. And then since then, we've had Bernanke, Yellen, everybody else in between, right? And that's why I think this is a really big issue that's going to happen over the next 3 months. And we may come, they say that the Fed is either hawks or what's the other word? Hawks or doves. I think we're going to get a little bit more dovish around this. I think that's what the country's looking for, because these 0.25s, they're not really working for this economy, especially with the inflation rates, with the data that we saw come out yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on to the next one.
Hey, let's pivot to Christmas time. Let's have Christmas time. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead.
All right. So from what country did eggnog originate?
Oh God, this is a crazy question. I'm just gonna guess. I don't know the answer, and I know I can't win.
And it is not Turkmenistan. I can tell you guys that right now.
Oh,
I would say like
Germany.
England. I would say England if I had to. Germany's a good guess. A lot of Scotland, France. I don't know the answer to this either.
Well,
India, get out of here.
Does this count? Britain?
Yeah, Britain or England are the same, I suppose. I saw in England right before Britain, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to find. I think it was Flippa Frank got the first.
I
one.
like Quebec.
Well, I see.
No, Asylum.
Yeah, it's Asylum. Asylum won that one.
All right,
Good job,
congratulations, Asylum. Congratulations.
I'm reaching out to everyone, but I don't have Asylum's contact. So Asylum, if you can, I'm going to put it in the comments here. Email editing at Hit Network, and we'll get you hooked up with that as well.
Nice.
Hit Network, perfect. God, so did I guess it correctly as well?
You
Did
did. I didn't want to show the world that you did it, but that was a smart move.
I don't know why. It just You know, it seemed like something that Brit
Do
would
you
drink.
like eggnog? I've never liked the
I can't
flavor
stand
of
it.
it.
I love it, but I only have about 1 glass, maybe 2 glasses a year. I don't buy the
Yeah.
jug because if I have it, I'll drink the whole thing in one night.
Yeah,
It
so
makes me think
Asylum-
of where he knocks over the little thing and he's got the little eggnog reindeer thing, like shitter's full, Clark.
with rum might be actually pretty good. My son absolutely
Does
smashes-
eggnog have alcohol in it, or is it
No,
just
no,
eggnog?
no. You can have doctored eggnog with alcohol, but it comes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just. It's basically it's just a
I'm
thick,
always learning
creamy.
something here on this
Uh,
channel. Okay,
uh,
here's a
we got-
fun one. You ready for the next one, guys? Because I'm
Yep,
giving
yep.
away 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm giving away $500 today because the
Okay.
holidays.
All right.
Let's
Love
go.
it, man. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, because I
What's
love
the
you
next one?
guys. And tomorrow, I think tomorrow I'm on the main show with DZ and the boys. I'm going to try to do the same thing. It's the holidays. How many Christmas cards are sent each year? And let's go closest without going over, like Price is Right rules.
Okay. Price is Right. So you have to get closest without going slightly
Going
okay.
over, yeah.
God, that's got to be it. And
Now
what
the
it-
question is, does this include e-cards or actually mailed?
Ooh,
Physical
I didn't
mail, I'd
actually
imagine.
check that, but I think that what I learned was
Oh,
these are physical Christmas cards
Yeah.
that are
well,
sent
we,
every
we've already got the answer pretty close to on the button.
Holy shit, we do have it. Who's
Oh,
is it? Is
who's
it
got it?
Moy? Did Moy get it? MOI?
Boozy the Clown, I think, is the first one.
Oh, there's
Boozy
a couple
the
there.
Clown.
Yeah, Boozy the
1.3.
Clown.
Wow.
1.3
Okay.
billion.
1.3 billion. Wow.
Is
Well, and
that
that's
not
probably
crazy?
that's probably like 300 million people sending out, because those physical Christmas card people, they shotgun blast their Christmas
Yeah, that's
cards
true.
out
That's
to
true.
everybody.
Well, it's important to think about, though, when you think about 1.3 billion Christmas cards, there's $2.6 trillion of money left behind at 401ks. So just do the math there. Instead of sending Christmas cards, save your 401k and put it in crypto today.
Right. Absolutely. I can't believe how much money is just, and honestly, like, it makes sense because myself, I forgot about 2 of them, and I came across them.
All right. I'm gonna do something fun for the last one. As you ask the question, I'm going to give a visual. There's going to be a clue in the visual that doesn't seem like it's related at all. But go ahead and ask this question, and I will pull up the screen as well.
Okay, hold on just a second. I saw a note here. These boys having fun. My crypto's getting pounded. Oh,
Is it really?
You're right.
Take
It
a look.
is. It is. But I consider that. I'm just going to buy more. Do you want me to buy more right now on my retirement account live? Because this is a
dare
buying
you.
opportunity. That's what I
dare
do.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll
let's-
buy a little bit too. I'm gonna buy some more.
All right.
Bitcoin
Before we
right
get to the
here.
last question, let's all buy
Yeah.
a little bit just to prove that dollar cost
now.
averaging is critical.
Well, I'm a savage, Like
I'm a
I'll-
savage, man. I'm a savage too.
If
Hold
we
on.
hit
I got to do the Face
70K,
ID.
I'll buy a
Let me get in
bunch if we
here.
hit 70K. But I'm gonna buy a little bit right now. I
Waiting
sent
for my
message
okay.
chat.
I'm in. What are we buying? We buying Bitcoin, Ethereum?
I bought
They
Bitcoin.
got
I bought Bitcoin.
Bitcoin? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I bought. I've just been buying it all the way down. If we hit 70K, 65,
Ooh,
I'm
man, it's getting beat
extra
up.
in.
Beat up. All right, so
It's
I'm gonna do.
Like
I'm gonna
it is
do-
and it isn't. Like
let's do
honestly,
Bitcoin.
we
do
everyone, the vibe is that we're at 0, and honestly, we're still.
Hey, what did we say when we started the stream?
Yeah,
I said,
hold
I'm
on, ready? Ready?
I'm expecting this to be going down today.
right.
I just bought $100 on my Bitcoin IRA account. I just put another $100 of Bitcoin in my Roth IRA.
Boom.
Let's go.
That's how it's done.
We got, and then I got one of the winners asking a question here, and honestly, I'm having so much fun. Where is this guy? Who won that last one? I saw his message. He's asking what he does. What are we doing? Where is this guy? I'm looking for him. What was his name again? Do you guys remember? Let's see here. I can't lose track of him because I want to make sure he gets it. Who? Boozy the Clown. All right. So Boozy, you won $100 gift card of swag, and then you can
From
use
Bitcoin
that.
IRA.
Yep, Bitcoin IRA swag. So you just won $100 of free swag from Bitcoin IRA for your fast fingers.
And right after that, there's a question. What's the name of the site to check unclaimed 401ks? It's Beagle, like the dog, beagle.com.
Yep.
So if you guys want to drop that in the chat for them, and
I just
Just-
want to.
I love your community so much. Somebody said Chris single-handedly pushed it up $400. I did not. It is not pushed up $400.
Well, it's us. You know, that's how illiquid the market is. Our
But
$300.
you take the time. You DCA every day, DCA all day, right? All right. So okay. Let's get back to business. Let's get back to these trivia questions. I appreciate you. By the way, before we finish off, I just want to say thank you so much to the Discover Crypto fam, Druth, Kelly. I'm going to see DZ and TJ and others tomorrow, and the entire audience. You guys brought me into this community in this time last year, and it's been a privilege to be a part of this community. I never try to be. I think I've been called a couple of times a used car salesman. That's not my style. If you believe in crypto and you want to save on taxes, this is the place you go. If you don't believe in crypto, I don't even know why you're on this show. And if you hate taxes, then you should definitely be talking to us. But thank you guys so much for just being a part of this community, because it means a lot to me. I've been added to a lot of communities over this year. And this was the one that I get so much excited when Kelly says, "Hey, come on to the show." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm get ready. I gotta find some good questions," because I really enjoy just being a part of this group. So, Kelly, what's your plan for the last question here?
Well, you got to ask it, and I'm going to put an image on screen that is very tangential, but it should help clue people into what the answer is.
This is a tough one. Actually, let's do this. Let's do $150 for this one.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do $150 for this one. It's the holidays. Let's have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
So who, and I didn't know this even was a true trivia question before I looked it up. Who was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's girlfriend?
Oh, this is a tough one. What? Oh man. Jeez. All right. I wish I had some hold on. I got some music while we're waiting here. Oh, Tim just told me. I can't tell the chat though. He just told me.
Well,
I see it. I think I see it.
Who is it? Do we got it?
Kind of like Shadows because it's misspelled, but it includes my initials. But I think
it's Marty Marv did it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Marty Marv, Clarice. Hello, Clarice.
Yeah, so you get the reference now. Hello, Clarice.
yeah.
Great reference. Yes. Great reference, Kelly.
Guys,
right away, I was like, dude, he's giving it away. Like but you got to know Silence of the Lambs. You got to know Hannibal. You got to know all those things. So that's a good mix.
Our buy is actually, I mean, we did this, you guys. We created this 15-minute green candle. Now it's going to roll over and probably keep going down, but we were the line in the sand. We're fighting back.
Money Monster with George Clooney, where he's like, we could do this together. We could turn this around and I'm not going to die. And it went like down, like at least we went up, that worked.
Love it. Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
Kelly, Drew, thank you guys so much. Drew, thank you so much. I'm gonna hang this with all my other stockings today, and I'm gonna take a picture with my daughter and my wife and post it on Twitter. And thank you guys.
Yes.
At the end of the day, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and love these guys. This is a group. This is a mentality that I love. We're honest with each other. We break down the stats. Druth brings in some amazing macro. Kelly brings in some amazing TA. And I'm here just for the color and the fun. So thank you guys so much. It's always been a pleasure. And I will see you all in 2026.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.